Okay, so we've got a pretty good system set up here so far. I did want to mention something before we get into the next portion. That every now and then I notice the lizard getting stuck on a rock, and so to avoid sort of the two sprites getting stuck together, I'm going to try something here. I'm going to move the lizard back farther. So go back 20 steps instead of 10 when it runs into it. I really can't catch it on video here, but basically the idea is when the lizard, just for some, it's under some circumstances, when it gets too close to a rock at a certain angle, it kind of gets stuck there trying to escape and can't get out. And so by Oh, there it goes. It just happened to do it. That was really small, though, because I happened to be at moving 20 steps away. Had it been 10 steps away, it really would have gotten stuck. And so, just by making a minor adjustment like this, we can change the behavior of the sprites in action. All right, so we are going to make a new sprite that is a bug. The lizard's got to eat. So we're going to come over here to our sprites. I'm going to do a search for bug. I'm going to find one right here. It's an awfully big one. And so here's the cool thing. When you have an existing sprite, like the rocks, let's say, for example, and you want a similar action to take place on another sprite, oftentimes you can just take the code that you've written for one sprite, hover it over another, and then even though it doesn't look like anything happened, when you go to that sprite, you'll realize that actually those blocks got carried over to the new sprite. Now, I'm going to adjust them. They won't make, I don't want it to do exactly the same thing as the rock, but at least it gives me a starting point. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to say, I think I'm going to make the bug even smaller. So we're going to say 15%. I don't want it to show up in the same place as the initial rock, so I'm just going to throw some numbers in here. In fact, maybe I'll just take away the minuses, and we'll just do the positives in the x and y axis. We're going to create, let's say, 10 bugs. And when they come out, they're going to go into a random position. And I'm going to leave them all the same size. Let's just see what that does. Okay, so we've got 10 bugs that come out. Right now they don't do anything because we haven't created any reaction yet, but at least we have them ready to go. Now, the other thing that we'd want to do with the bugs is get them to be moving a little bit, just in motion. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a forever block, and I'm going to have them turn. Let's see what that does. Okay, so they're turning in place. Notice, however, that initial one is not turning in place, and that's because I didn't put anything here. I'm going to do a little kind of a trick here. I'm going to show these sprites, but then I'm going to hide the original after they get done. And if I do that, then I'm not, once I do that, the original just kind of goes away. I don't have to worry about it, but I can put all my code in my clones instead. And so they're turning. I like that. They're not turning in different directions, though, so I might change something up by maybe going to, again, let's go back to random. Let's do like a negative 25 to a positive 25. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay, so they're like almost like shaking or something. Maybe I'll make it a little bit more. Negative 50 to a positive 50. Okay, so the bugs are hanging out and they're moving around. Now, in order to get them to react to the lizard, here's the thing. So with the lizard, we wanted it to react to the rocks. So in other words, the rock isn't moving or anything. When the lizard comes up to the rock, the lizard has to move. So we're going to do something similar on the bug side when the lizard encounters it. So inside the forever, we're going to say if touching lizard. We want it to do, well, first of all, we need it to disappear. We need to hide, right? So we're going to go to looks and we're going to go to hide. You could also do delete this clone. I think it would, in this case, delete this clone or delete. Yeah, it would be the same result. We're just getting rid of it basically. The other thing I would like to do is have it, and there you can kind of see it on the screen here when the lizard's encountering them, they're disappearing. Maybe we want like a sound effect too. So if we go to sounds and we start a sound, we could, yeah, well, there's a different sound that I really like that's part of this. I'm going to go to sounds right now, and I'm going to add the chomp sound. In fact, if you go to any of these and you hover over them, you can test them out, right? So I'm going to pick chomp. And in fact, I'm just going to get rid of pop. I don't need it anymore. And then under the code, let's pick chomp, and let's see how that does. Okay, so as it's eating them, he's chomping them down. Okay, so we've now introduced two different sprites. To one, he reacts by moving away. To the other, he reacts by eating them, and they disappear on a chomp sound. In the next section, we will take a look at how do we make a count of all of what's going on here. Okay.